Hi, everyone. Well, welcome. Now, first, I'd like to acknowledge and pay respects to past, present, and future traditional owners of the lands on which we're meeting. Now, I'm Susanna from Campion, and you've joined us for our psychology webinar. So, welcome to those who are here live, and also I know we have a number of people who are choosing to watch the recording afterwards, so welcome to you as well. So we are recording, and if you're here live and you have questions as we go, do please feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll moderate and read them out loud to the presenters. So today we're going to hear about new VCE Psychology products from Jacaranda and Nelson. Just before we jump into it, I'm going to very quickly throw to James, the MD from Campion, to welcome us.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining. My name is James Cathro and I'm the Managing Director of Campion Education. Campion are all about making teaching and learning as easy as possible for schools. Delivering education has never been so complex, and there's a world of new tools available, including Campion's own digital MyConnect 2 to help prepare students for their future. Campion is a family-owned company and I've been the MD for more years than I like to remember. But I've had the privilege of visiting many schools, meeting many teachers over the years and finding out about what schools need, what students need, where education resources and learning pedagogy need to go. I hope you get a lot out of this webinar series, so let's jump in.
Great, thank you very much, James. Well, let's do what the man said and jump straight in. So, Christy, I think we'll pass over to you as our first presenter. So we have Christy Kitchell, who's a publisher from Jacaranda. Christy, you're on mute at the moment. Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Just waiting for my camera to come on.
Yeah.
There we are. Okay, hello. I'm just going to share my screen. Just a moment. I'll just share so I can get my presentation up.
Yep, fantastic. And I can see that. So take it away.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining. My name is Christy Kitchell and I'm a publisher at Jacaranda. I've been working very closely with John Grivas on our new psychology series. It's very exciting. With all these webinars that we've been doing, John did want me to let teachers know that he has been listening to the feedback we've been getting over the years about the series and any challenges that teachers may be having and the things that they love. And he's very excited for you all to see how we've improved this much loved and relied upon series. So jump right in. So our VCE series, you can see our great new covers there. It's available. It's everything you need for your students to succeed, and it's available obviously in print, but also in Learn On, which I'm going to talk a little bit about soon. It's a really fantastic, our most powerful platform. It's got everything in there that your students and you need to get through exams, the whole course, everything. You can see our prices there. If you do want Learn On for your students, which is where you can connect, you can assign all these great things, it's only $50 per student. If you would like to add the print to that, then they just pay an additional $30 and then they get the print. Our super course, which I'll talk about soon, is where they can get access to both year 11 and 12 digital for a year. So in case they want to move between the two, or if students perhaps did not do year 11 and they would like to go back and look at some things, it's only $55 to get both of those year levels in Learn On. And then, of course, there's our workbooks, which is a standalone product. Those are a really great companion to the normal texts. And the students can obviously, they're like bite-sized activities that students can do to really understand, get a deep dive into the concepts and sort of understand them a little bit better. Those are also being revised for the new study design, and those are $39.95 each. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this a bit more as well, but you will be able to get your students fully exam ready with everything that we've popped into these titles. We do have carefully selected past exam questions. John has gone through and carefully selected them from the past years, adapted them where necessary for the new study design. And we'll also be including customizable practice stacks that you can use as you need to. And of course, they need to be customizable. As you know, that is the rule. You can't use ones that you've purchased. And also, for anyone who has used our psychology in the past, you'll know that if you did use digital, there was the ebook plus for students and the eGuide plus for teachers, and then there was Study On, which was all the VCAR exam questions. Well, now it's all just in Learn On, so you only have to go to the one place whether you're a teacher, whether you're a student. The Learn On knows which one you are. We just set you up in the background, and then teachers get access to all their teacher materials and goodies. Students can just see the student materials, and all of the VCAR exam questions are now in Learn On as well. So it's everything in one place. It's a much better experience for you all. And of course, I'm going to talk about Learn On, which is Australia's most powerful learning platform. It's quite amazing. Be confident that your students can get unstuck and progress, whether they're in home or in the classroom. For every question, they receive immediate feedback, so it helps them at the time that they're learning it. They don't have to wait till later when they might have forgotten or lost interest. Teacher-led videos that will help them to learn and relearn, to explain some of the harder concepts and to go through some exam questions. And of course, you get instant reports, so you can track their progress. It's very simple. This is the super course that I was talking about. This is a really unique and innovative product that we've put out for people. You can combine the units 1 to 4 all in the one. Students can have access to all 4. Their results will be carried across to both. And that means that, just say they are in, like I said, year 12, they did not do year 11, and they do need a little bit of revision to help them sort of catch up. They can have access to both, and it's only that extra $5 on top of the original title. So that's really, really great. And I just want to say that everything that we create here at Jacaranda is based on these values. So they're all personal. So the learning and teaching journey is personal for everyone. So this, especially Learn On, helps you make connections and really have personalised learning. It's effortful, so students don't just get a quick sugar hit in a digital platform. If they really do have to try, they get their results, and they feel like they're actually putting in a lot of effort. And of course, it's rewarding. So they do, when they get it right, they get the immediate feedback, and they know that they're progressing. They can see their results just as much as you can as teachers. If you'd like to see more about the study design, obviously we do have a deep dive webinar that we just did last week. So you can jump onto the Jacaranda website and you can find that recording, and you can get the slideshow as well, where Nicole Letch, who has authored with John before, went over the points in the study design that have changed this year. And the things maybe that there are certain points that have been removed, but they are important for background knowledge, so that which ones John has kept in, and that we'll be flagging as background knowledge as well. But of course, if you have any further questions about study design, jump into the VCAR site or get onto Erin there at VCAR, who will help you out. With the study design, obviously, as I said in this deep dive, we do go into more of the changes. So I definitely, watch that. But of course, there have been some assessment weighting changes. There's now 4 optional task types for SACs. There is that enhanced focus on a strength-based approach. And in our deep dive webinar, Nicole does go into more detail about what that means, and what that will mean for you when teaching. There is the increased focus on critical inquiry skills. And of course, the one that seems to be worrying a lot of teachers, and understandably so, the inclusion of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander knowledge and perspectives. Really important content, but as teachers have told us, it wasn't in their original training, so they're not quite sure how to approach those. We've got some really great stuff for that. I'll talk about it now so I don't forget later on when I'm going through the rest. So a lot of teachers said that they didn't really understand the points that were added. Some of our authors didn't either. So we actually went back to VCAR, and we got them to give us a really great breakdown of what each point is, and what the students need to know. So basically, for every single one of those key knowledge points, the students must understand, or students need to learn, and there's a whole bunch of dot points, and we have actually added them to our title so that students will know exactly what they're meant to learn. We've gotten some really great contributing authors to help us out with that. Lynn Kelly, who's a really expert on songlines, has helped John out with those topics, and Joe Williams, who is a First Nations educator, and he has sort of done some parts on wellbeing as well, mental health and wellbeing. So some really exciting stuff in there, and you can trust that we've got that stuff covered, and we can really help you out with that. All right, back and now to the research and feedback. So this is really important because we know that a lot of teachers do rely on our text, and even if they don't book list it for the students, we know that the teachers do use it because they have told us that. So we wanted to make sure that we took in the feedback, and we want your students to use it, because especially with Learn On now, it's really important that they all have their own copy of it so they can get their own results, they can see how they're doing, and they can practice for their exams. So here's the feedback that we've taken in. We've made it more streamlined, targeted and refocused. We know that it was quite text heavy, it was dense, a bit scary for students and daunting. So we have, you'll see in a minute, I'll show you some pages of how we've addressed that. We have added past VCAR exam questions to the print and Learn On. And of course, some previous full exams are in Learn On as well. You do get the full visibility into student results as well now with Learn On. And that's the biggest thing, is improved online experience. Psychology was never in Learn On before, although most of our Jacaranda titles were. Now psychology is being fully developed to sit in Learn On. It's going to be fantastic, and that's going to be an amazing help for you and your students. And there's just our covers again, everything you need for your students to succeed, developed by Victorian teachers for VCE students, really important. John's done a really great job of going through the study design and really interpreting it and setting it all out for everyone. It's very clear what he's done. If you have any questions when you're looking at our sample topics or anything, please do feel free to get in touch with us and we can answer any of them, and ask John if you have any for him. You can see here that our topic names are explicitly aligned to the study design. So you know as you're going through exactly what your students need to study to make sure they've covered everything. So there's our Year 11 table of contents. It's one topic fewer in there than we had last edition. And here's Year 12 one. And actually Year 12 last edition had 14 topics. So you can see we've really dropped now. And you will see that the Year 12 title, with some of the changes that John has made, is significantly less pages now. So it's a bit less daunting for students in that way, but it's definitely more focused and targeted. So here's some of the pages here. So what we've done to sort of help with this dense problem, it now has a clean, fresh design, so it's more in line with the rest of our Jacaranda titles now. You can see spaces between the paragraphs. It's nice, clean layout. Students can actually, you know, feel like they can take a breath when they're reading the page. You can see the subtopics are now numbered. Before they weren't, which was very hard to find your place, or for students to find where they were, and just for navigation in general. So you can see now that we do have these numbered subtopics and sections. There are there is an exact match between Learn On and the printed text. So no matter which one your students are using, they will have the same content, but it's just in Learn On, they get a whole bunch more stuff that's much more exciting. The exercise sets are now more logically numbered based on the subtopics. Before they were unusual numbering, I'll say. Now it's just whatever subtopic it sits in, and then 1, 2, 3. That's not a 3. That would be a 3. So yeah, that's how they're numbered. So it's much easier again to find what you need. There are exercise sets for every subtopic, and they're always located immediately after the relevant content. John doesn't like to throw them all right at the end of the subtopic. He likes to pop them right after where the students have learnt the content. And you'll see now we have the review questions, which is what John had in previous editions, and he's kept those. Then we have also added some multiple choice sets, which, as you know, mimics the Part A of the exam. There are the VCAR exam questions you can see on the right here, added to print. And so there'll be at least 5 in the print in these boxes, all scattered throughout, and then any additional questions will be in Learn On, so students can actually go in Learn On and find even more exam questions in there. And you can see here this bonus content here. So these are the boxes, and anyone who is familiar with the Grivas text will know that this is all stuff that is not explicitly covered in the study design, but it's just what John has considered to be good to know, like it's bonus stuff that you might find interesting. But it did clutter up the pages. We understand that students then did not know what they had to study and what they didn't for their exams. So what we've done now is, you'll see on the right here, this is one of the newer pages. That content will now be in this little green box here that will tell you to go into Learn On to find that content if you would like to know more. So it's still there for you. It's still there for those teachers who have told us they really love that additional helpful content, especially for their advanced students, but you just jump into Learn On and find it. So it's not cluttering up the titles themselves. Students won't be confused about what they do and don't need to study. So that has really helped to reduce the clutter in there. And it is, yeah, definitely gives clearer navigation through the study design. And when you jump into Learn On, it will be a box like this, and you can click on it and then it will expand, it will drop down. So again, it still doesn't even clutter up the reading content in Learn On. It's only there if you want it, you can drop it down. Keep an eye on my time because I don't want to go over. And then for the topic 1, obviously the key science skills and research methods in psychology. This has been revised a little bit in the study design. So John has fully revised this topic here. It's really great. It includes all the new jargon like within and between subjects, experiments versus independent groups and repeated measures, all of those sorts of things. So you'll see that he has addressed all of those. He's put a lot of work into these topics. So you'll find them to be really helpful to go back and forth when your students are sort of going through their learning. They can come back and check on these things, especially if they want to know what these things are. If there's a case study that talks about certain types of experiments, they can come back and relearn what that was. Okay, so then we jump into Learn On, which I normally would show live, but I won't today because that will take too much time. But if anyone would actually like us to show you Learn On, get in touch with us because we're happy to give a demo. And there's obviously lots of information on our website as well. But basically it has everything you need for each lesson. And this is just a typical lesson view of Learn On. You've got the reading content on the left here, so students can scroll through there. That's where they'll find all the reading that's in the print, but they'll also find embedded videos, interactivities, and things like that, anything they need. And then on the right here, you've got the question tab. So that might be, for example, review, VCAR exam questions, multiple choice, things like that. And students can click between them. I meant to do that. And then they can answer their questions in there. And then we've got our resources panel. You can drop that down to a single screen if you'd just like to see the reading or just see the questions. It's very easy to do with one button. But there you go. You've got everything you need in lesson view. And it brings the pages to life in Learn On. These interactivities, students will be able to click, they'll be able to hear it being read out, which is also very helpful for some of those bigger words that can be a bit complicated in psychology, like how to pronounce them. So that will really help them out as well. And as I said, the videos will be embedded. They don't have to go somewhere separate for them. They will actually be in the learning content where they need them at the point of learning. And that's really helpful at home too, if you're not around and they need to refresh on what they're trying to learn. Okay, and then we have comprehensive exam preparation. So obviously the past VCAR exam questions have been added to Learn On and Print. Solutions and sample responses include the marking guide and the VCAR exam report notes where applicable, and they're available online and offline. And you can see here that the questions, if it's a multiple choice, they can answer it. They'll get the answer straight away after they've had a go. And you can also set different conditions. If you wanted to set it as a test condition, you can say that they don't get the answers until everyone has finished and you release the marks and things like that. You've got lots of power. They get immediate access. So as I said, they'll fill in their question there and they get a sample response. They'll get the VCAR assessment report note all within Learn On there. It all pops up for them straight away. That's really handy for their learning. And you can see here comprehensive exam preparation. We're also going to do, apart from the questions, some videos as well, and possibly some on sort of how to approach those longer, extended response questions in the exam. A lot of teachers said, oh, we just have to leave that till last bit until we finish the course. Well, we're going to, be able to provide some advice on that in some videos as well. And past VCAR exam questions are accessible as full exams. We've popped them into Learn On here. And it's not just a printed page like they might get if they go into the VCAR site. It's actually question by question. They can go in and answer them and get all that feedback I just talked about. And we're also going to have the customizable SACs in there for the new study design. So those will be accessible to you as well. You can also create custom assignments. Learn On basically has a built-in test maker. So all those question sets I talked about, review, multiple choice, VCAR exam questions, anything that's in there, you can choose from any of those in the entire resource and build your own tests and send them out to individual students, groups, classes, share them with other teachers. There's so much power in here, and you can get them, you can set them so they can be released at any time, and that they have to be in by a certain time. You can extend them. There's all sorts of power that you have in there, very flexible, and it's easy to create them as well. And with the assignments, you also get instant, real-time feedback on the students and how they're doing. You can see the list of students, how many questions are attempted and all their marks. So you get full visibility over everything. And you can give feedback. You can jump in. Students can mark themselves in some of the sets, but you can go in and override their marks. You can leave verbal feedback, so you can hit record and you can actually just say your feedback to them if you don't want to type it in as well. So that's really easy too to go through. And this is how your results will come out. So anytime students do whether they just go in and do a question set, whether you assign it, if it's formative or summative, either way, all these results will flow into here and you can see, so this would actually be the subtopics, the topics, and then it breaks into subtopics and assignments. There's lots of different ways to see it. You can see your results by the assignments that you've done as well. Very flexible. You can slice and dice it. You can export it and put it into your reporting systems, anything you want to do. And you can also compare your classes. If you have 3 different psychology classes, you can actually compare them and see how they actually are going against each other. And if you drop that down, you'll actually see every single student and it's all plotted out and how they're doing. Super powerful. On time, a couple more minutes left. And of course, we have enhanced teacher support materials as well. So teachers will have their own little tab called Teach On, which students won't be able to see. But within there, you will have sort of extra teacher advice, additional activities. We're also going to pop in the resources panel. Teachers will be able to get the answers to things, work programs, quarantine tests. So just in case there's a test that you would like to do, the students won't be able to access it and learn on previously and practice it or see the answers. That's just something that you can keep quarantined until you're ready to assign it as an exam. So lots in there for you. And the workbook's obviously the perfect companion, revised for the new study design, activities to help students consolidate learning and practice the concepts. We have taken in teacher feedback. We've added a bit more scaffolding to the activities, made some of them a little bit easier if they're a bit hard for students, especially those longer ones with lots and lots of text where they had to write a lot of answers. Fewer summary analysis activities and more application-based ones. If you'd like to see samples of those, let us know. And I assume you will get access to these slides, so here's how you can access our samples. But if you just jump onto our website, they're all there as well. And again, those prices, digital, learn on everything I just spoke about, which I couldn't even show you. But again, you'd love it. It's so amazing. Only $50 for that per student, and then an extra $30 for the print there. And of course, the super course. 2 more minutes left. You can combine your units flexibly, so of course another $5 and your students can have access to both, which could also be good for year 10 students who might have year 10 science and then you want to give them year 11 psychology as well, and they can have both of those, so that also works. And this is really fantastic that you might want to take back to your schools. It's our Jacaranda complete 7 to 12 e-library. So for only $75 per student, if the whole school takes it up, students get access to everything digital that Jacaranda publishes from 7 to 12. Like, that is phenomenal. You're probably thinking, what? Can't wrap your head around it, because it is. It's a really amazing deal. So for less than the cost of one traditional textbook, they'll have access to everything. And this really does create equity among students. It makes you know you can set and forget, and students will just have access. You know that all students have equal access to everything. And I forgot what I was about to say then, but yes, it is the whole school 7 to 12 commitment is required for that. And you're probably thinking that's a lot of titles for them to have on their bookshelf, but Jacaranda's new bookshelf has been altered a little bit. So they have a library, which is where all these would sit. And so that might be like your bookshelf at home. And then there is a little bookshelf, and that's where they can move their titles across, like putting it on your bedside table. So that's really great. So let us know if you'd like to know more about that. And that's it. I'm finished. Thank you.
Wow, that was quite the whistle stop tour, Christy. Thank you so much. I will say, if teachers or school staff want to find out about Bookshelf, please do have a chat with Campion. And we just yesterday did a wonderful webinar that looks at Campion's My Connect Bookshelf, which enables you to access the best choice of content from across the range of publishers. So lots of options there. So really exciting to see that new addition from John. I know I have friends who studied with that textbook 20 years ago. So fantastic to see it come back into for this new curriculum.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Christy. So now we're going to turn to just before I let you go, there's a quick query on publishing dates. I'm not sure if you put that up. If you had the pub dates. Yeah.
So November is when the printed texts are expected, but of course Learn On will be ready before that. So if you would like to, obviously you can purchase at any time, and you will have access to Learn On earlier than that, and so you can get in and start planning and things like that. But of course we can show you all topics at the moment. If you would like to see samples, we can show you all of the topics at the moment as well.
Yeah, super. Thank you so much, Christy. And Zoe and everybody else, you will get a copy of this recording, and also if you need assistance where your Campion account manager is happy to hook that up for you, to coordinate that for you. Great. Now let's turn to Nelson. So we have Katherine, and we also have Anne-Marie, I know, but Katherine, I think you're the one who's leading today. So let's get your camera and microphone on. Yep. Can you hear me, Katherine?
I sure can. Can you see me, Susanna?
Yes, I can see you. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's going to be a joint effort today with Anne-Marie. So hopefully I think she's in there. Yep. There you go. There she is.
Hi, Anne-Marie. Great. Well, I'll hand over to you. Someone sharing screen?
Yes, it'll be Anne-Marie.
Yep. Hey, and I can see that.
We're taking turns today.
Wonderful. Well, I can see your screen. So take it away. Katherine, did you want to start?
Oh, sorry. I thought Anne-Marie was going to start. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Anne-Marie, I can't hear you.
I think she's got herself on mute.
Sure. Well, Katherine, are you able to kick off while she sorts out the tech?
Yeah, no worries. Look, thank you so much, everyone, for having us here today. Both Anne-Marie and I will be, we're both from Nelson, and we'll be presenting for you the products that we have for our VCE Psychology, Units 1 and 2, as well as 3 and 4.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now, Anne-Marie.
Sorry, we just had a couple of, you invariably with these forums have the odd technical issues. So I'm happy to go from here if that's okay. Anne-Marie. So I guess good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at the end of your busy day. Both Katherine and I are here this afternoon to take you through the VICscience Psychology offer. We are so proud to bring this series to school. The series is built upon research and the principles of the science of learning, a complete solution. We have conducted extensive research with teachers and have listened to and responded to your needs. The focus of the presentation today is to help you unpack what is available to you, to help you engage your students and achieve exam success.
Anne-Marie, sorry, I'll just interrupt you. I can't see either you or Christy or your presentation. I can see, yeah, so I can see the icon of your presentation, but it's not open on my screen.
Can you see that now, Susanna?
No. Oh, Zoe can see it. Okay, maybe it's just me. All right. Oh, let's carry on.
Okay, so and I guess just before we go any further, because we know that today is a short session, and so just outlining the Victorian Learning Consultant team, should you need to reach out and organise a follow-up meeting or a demo, or we're a very friendly team and very happy to help you with any queries. So there's myself, Kim Lowe and Gillian Litton. So here we have the Nelson VICscience Psychology pathway. We've created a learning pathway with resources for each stage. So we've got the learn with the student resources, student books to develop higher order thinking. We've got the skills workbooks, and that is to develop, not moving. Is there a problem with the slides? Okay.
Yeah, I can't see the slides at all.
That's really strange, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see the slides at your end?
I've got full screen view, so maybe if I do, so
okay, Zoe's seeing the contact us slide. I'm seeing a little icon. Yeah, do you want to stop the share and then try again? Oh, hang on, Anne-Marie. Hey, okay, I've got that now. Zoe, have you got that? Yeah, that looks much better. And I can see your contact us and psychology screen. Yes, okay, carry on. I think we're good now.
So for the learn, we've got the student books to develop higher order thinking. We've got the skill workbooks, and I'm hearing from teachers all the time how post-COVID, this is an area where students really need extra help. We've got the Nelson Mindtap, so engage with interactive content and monitor the progress and usage of your students. We've got the A+, helping students revise and prepare. We have Exam Plus for creating quizzes and tests in real world conditions. And here, just even looking at these student books, and Katherine can dive in a little bit to the backstory behind the design of these student books, but they look amazing, and again, just reflects so much research and rigor and effort that has gone into the development of this series. We've got the research methods with Christy Kitchell, the 3rd edition, which is fantastic. And then the A+ study notes and practice exams to help your students be exam ready. The Exam Plus platform, which is a digital subscription platform, again, to develop quizzes and tests. So I'm going to hand over to Katherine from here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Anne-Marie. And we will talk to those beautiful covers very shortly. So in terms of, who wrote and who was responsible for putting all of these resources together, we're incredibly lucky that we have a stellar authoring team of a lot of collective teaching experience, and not just teaching, exam assessment, as well as past chief assessors as well. So plenty of expertise and experience going into the development of all of the resources that Anne-Marie has spoken to. In terms of, before we started developing the content, we wanted to make sure that we were designing and creating content that was going to be super helpful for teachers and students. So speaking to our teacher community, there were some general pieces of feedback that we received that we wanted to make sure that we incorporated into our content and our resources. As you can see here, a lot along the alignment of the curriculum, clear and concise, making sure that there's plenty of exam practice and practice for those scientific skills, as well as support with the First Nations content. And as you can see here, these are our student books, and I'd like to be able to speak to the content that's been put into the student books, or the textbooks in particular. Anne-Marie did mention at the start about the design of the cover, and for this particular series, we really wanted to make a focus of student wellbeing a focus of ours. So alongside speaking to teachers, we also spoke to students and asked them, got some of their feedback around how we could incorporate student wellbeing into our book, and that's what you can see here in our design cover. And so a lot of that feedback has been filtered into there and in our text cover as well. So that was thanks to the student input. And of course, in terms of the content development, we wanted to make sure that we were enhancing student learning and used and embedded cognitive psychology learning principles throughout the book, which I'm sure many of you know really well. So you can see here the color palettes of the chapter maps that we have are very nice and easy to the eyes, because as I mentioned, this is from student feedback and putting at the forefront of our mind, and literally at the front, student well-being as well. In terms of preparing them for success of the content, you can see that we have different aspects of the textbook with kind of a different function. So the activities that we have within the text, they've been designed such that there's lower order to higher order thinking in terms of those questions. Of course, a lot of exam style questions that you'll find at the end of the chapter, so that students can get exposed to exam style questions early on, as well as investigations to help students get a taste of a mix of different types of investigations and start filling up that logbook of theirs as well. Speaking of research, we have, as you can see here, different representations of scientific psychology research in the case of the case study on the left-hand side, because we want students to have exposure and practice of the different representations of psychology research. And on the right-hand side, the analysing research, it's much more as you would normally see the traditional type of scientific research. And alongside each of these are questions, and these questions are aimed at supporting students to be able to really excel when it comes to those types of questions in the end of year exam that, as we know, are becoming more and more prevalent in our exams as well. In terms of our First Nations content, we've done our very best to make sure that it's culturally responsive and collaborative in the nature in which we actually produce the content. So one of our key authors, Meredith McCaig, has worked alongside many different professionals and experts when it comes to the different areas of the First Nations content material that we created for the book. So for example, we can see Dr. Lynn Kelly helped us out with creating some content and activities. And I know that Dr. Lynn Kelly is also supporting, VCAR in developing some PD for teachers around First Nations content, as well as people, experts like Dr. Graham Gee, who his work around the social and emotional well-being for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders is a core of what we see in the study design dot point for that part of the psychology study design. So where we can, we've tried our very, very best to actually make sure that our content is culturally responsive, respectable, and also accurate. And where necessary, we've sought permission from relevant groups and individuals to be able to use and or reference their work. Back to you, Anne-Marie.
Thank you, Katherine. I'll just briefly give you an overview of the Nelson Mindtap platform. So Nelson Mindtap is the online learning platform. The digital experience has been created with the teacher and the student at the heart of the learning. I hope you can see from the map here how we've facilitated both student and teacher needs. For the student, we've provided engaging dynamic content, which is intuitive and easy to use and accessible anywhere, together with personalised study tools and feedback for the student on how they're going and what they need to improve upon. This helping students to build confidence and be exam ready. For the teacher, we've got customised learning pathways, and we can integrate with your LMS and have seamless single sign-on integration. There are also powerful analytics to help you understand how your students are performing, or maybe identify if they're struggling with a particular topic or maybe not engaging with a topic. You can see this is just a bit of a summary of what's available for the students. So again, lots of interactive content around videos helping to engage the students. Then we've got pre and post quizzes and worksheets, and then they can tailor and navigate their own pathway. For teachers, again, as we've discussed, you've got the ability to tailor content, monitor progress, integrate and assess. So a flexible and powerful platform designed with the student and teacher at the heart of the learning. Here we just have a couple of examples of the ebook with the interactives, and again the clear signposting through the book for Nelson Mindtap technology. And this is an example of the gradebook, and again those powerful analytics that help you understand how the student is progressing with the content. You will be invited to a trial of the and have the opportunity to see a sample of the Mindtap platform, which will be coming your way soon. The Nelson VICscience Biology, so again, there's a range of options open to you for book listing. You've got the blended print and digital for $89.95. You can have the student book and the workbook pack for $99.95 and the digital only for $49.95. That's for both the year 11 and 12. And for the workbook, that is available to you also, the skills workbook for year 11 and 12. Then we've got the Psychology Research Methods book for $28.95, the third edition, a must-have to develop those research skills. And to complete the suite of offering open to you, we've got the study guides. So the A+, study notes and practice exams for $34.95. And I guess lastly, we've got Exam Plus. So Exam Plus, that's the digital subscription platform where you can make quizzes and tests quickly and easily at your fingertips and replicate real-world exam conditions. So there are lots of options open to you. I'm hoping this session was informative for you. Apologies for the technical glitches along the way, and I guess it's over for questions. Yes, we will be sharing digital page proofs with you very soon.
That's great. And again, feel free to contact Nelson directly, or your Campion account manager can also assist with that. Anne-Marie, it was great to see that coverage of the First Nations content. I know that's something a lot of teachers are really working hard to get their heads around how to deliver that. Is there anything else you'd like to comment on that? I think it was Katherine who talked about that actually.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of that, as you mentioned, it is something that's a lot of teachers are asking for support on, and we've tried our very best to be able to do that in the right way. I know that we do have a webinar coming up as well around helping teachers and supporting teachers around how to navigate First Nations content within their classroom with Dr. Meredith McCaig, and hopefully special guests that she's trying to rope in to have, you know, the conversation around Indigenous and First Nations content. So we recognise that it's been, you know, an incredibly difficult journey, but you know, we're trying to do the best that we can to provide teachers with the most support that they can have when it comes to First Nations content and doing so within the classroom.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Well, I think that concludes our webinar for today. So everyone who registered will get a link to watch again. And Zoe's just saying we really need support for this content. Yes, I'm hearing this from teachers all over, that the more support and different approaches and ideas on how to teach this are really hugely valuable. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see when these when the page proofs come through and when we can have a look at it. So thank you so much to Nelson and Jacaranda and everybody who's watching live and who's watching the recording as well. Yeah, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.